Chris Spencer on an email says, Simon, might I suggest a new enemy for Doctor Who to tackle in his next adventure? I present Doctor Who and the Crofties. The Crofties are a race of cheaply put together, slightly rotund sports presenters armed with the twin weapons of tungsten darts and an opinion on nearly everything. They know no fear of the Doctor because they simply don't believe in him. The good Doctor goes back in time to take over from Harry Redknapp at West Ham. This is where Chris's argument loses it just a little bit. Keeps them in the Premiership. That's where we've lost it even more.
I'm all for this.
Thus rendering the Crofties speechless in perpetuity, saving the airways forever.
Sign him up.
It's good.
Sign him up, apart from his grasp of the facts as to what's happening to West Ham and the Premiership. But
Yeah.
apart from that. And this says, Phil says, maybe I can become the 1 millionth Doctor Who fan to send you this, but will you tell Crofty to watch Remembrance of the Daleks, where at the end of part 1, Sylvester McCoy gets chased upstairs by a Dalek, and this is 15 years ago. Get with the news.
But you see, the Daleks are like cows. They can go upstairs, they can't come back downstairs again. Something about
They
that.
can now.
You're
They
changing
can
your
now.
arguments.
But Sylvester McCoy was a decent Doctor. I did admit to that. I mean, he was a good Doctor. He actually used to put 9-inch nails down his nose as part of a cabaret act, didn't he, Sylvester McCoy? Not
As
when
the
he was
Doctor?
Not when he was Doctor Who.
Was that how he got his equity card?
Yeah, but he should have done it while he was Doctor Who. Would have been better
That
TV.
sports room Christmas party from a few years ago must have been fantastic. Here's Janet in Newcastle. Says, just to say, very excited by the new Doctor Who. Excited, particularly when Christopher Eccleston is back on the box. Put the two together. I'm extremely excited. Whilst you've got him there, can you ask him what else he's up to? I'll be watching with my 7-year-old Max, who got to know Doctor Who on old videos and seems to love all the Doctors the same. So, is there anything else that we're going to be seeing Christopher Eccleston in?
Not at the moment, because I just spent 8.5 months filming Doctor Who. But
How many programmes in 8.5 months?
I've done 13 45-minute episodes in 8 months, which is
That
and it's
sounds
high
like quite-
concept television.
Right,
Yeah,
that's quite a tough rate then.
it was a tough rate. Yeah, and the crew and everybody involved. The crew particularly worked very hard, and you don't have a life when you do it. You don't. It's 14-hour days, and if you're playing the Doctor, for instance, if you're not in a scene, you're learning the lines for the next.
Was there any point where you thought, this is too much?
Many. There were many points when I thought that, but what always kept me going was Russell's scripts and the idea that I was doing something for kids, children. Yeah, there was many times like that.
It was Michael Grade when he was controlled of BBC One, got rid of Doctor Who, and he's now back at the BBC as chairman.
Yeah, but
Has he seen it? Do you know?
I don't know, but
Be interested to know what he thinks.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that we can change people's minds with the writer that we've got.
Carl in Leeds saw Christopher in Hamlet at the West Yorkshire Playhouse. Age 29, it was my first play. Does he have any plans to return to the stage in Leeds? Good luck with Doctor Who. It is filling my brain like cup final day.
Yeah, I will work at the West Yorkshire Playhouse. I might work at the Crucible in Sheffield. Yeah, theatre is one of the things I'd like to do next, because when you do a lot of television or film, you are to a certain extent like a laboratory rat. It's a director's vision more than an actor's medium. Whereas theatre,
And you know that you'll go on and you'll be doing a very serious play, and you'll be very good at it. And on the front row, you'll have a variety of Doctor Who monsters.
Yeah,
They're all just there.
correct. Yeah.
Here's a call for you if you put your headphones back on again. It's
Thank
Sue
you.
in Stockport. Hello, Sue.
Hi.
Hello,
Yes.
Sue.
Hi, Christopher. Now, one of my lasting childhood memories is watching Doctor Who and hiding behind the sofa whenever the Daleks came on screen.
Another sofa person.
Yeah.
Every conversation has to have someone who watched from behind the sofa. What were you watching, Sue? Do you remember?
Oh, I just remember just whenever the Daleks came on screen.
Which Doctor was it?
Well, numerous ones, I think, because,
So you're hiding behind the futon in the 80s.
well, not quite, when I was a little girl.
Right.
But are the new Daleks going to be just as scary for me as an adult?
Yeah, they are. There are certain things that they can do now that they didn't used to be able to do. But I've always felt with the Daleks, I look at them and I think they are kind of a brilliantly simple design, and physically perhaps they're not that threatening. But what's frightening about the Daleks is the psychology, because they know a lot more about the Doctor than anybody else, viewers or other villains. They know they are his Achilles heel, and it's always a mental chess game with the Doctor. And they actually change the Doctor's personality in episode 6. He's a very different Doctor than he is in episode 5 and
In what
7
way?
and 8. They drive him mad. He's frightened of the Daleks. He's not frightened of anything else. he's frightened of the Daleks, and it's the psychological interplay that I think chills people.
Sue, thanks very much indeed for the call. Lenny James has just joined us because he's starring in Raisin in the Sun. How are you doing, Lenny?
I'm not too bad.
And this is Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, we know each other.
You work together?
Yeah.
What, was it 24-hour party people?
It was 24-hour party people. I don't think we were on screen together.
No, we weren't in screen, but I met you when I was hanging about to
we
do
were
my
just
bit.
I passed him on the floor.
Ben Stock says, Chris, I thought the drama Our Friends in the North was one of the best things on TV in the last 25 years. Where does he feel the series and his performance rank in his career to date?
Our Friends in the North. I can't talk about my own career. I was very proud that British television would attempt something on that scale with that kind of intelligence, and the idea of a nation looking at itself is always the way I viewed television. So I'm very, very proud to be involved in it. Again, what was most important about that was the writer, Peter Flannery, the scripts. That's what makes great television, is great writing.
Would you go along with that, Lenny?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't really start until until you've got the kind of script right. And I think sometimes when television is not at its best, inevitably it's because the script wasn't right in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch Doctor Who as a kid?
I did watch Doctor Who. I was the John Pertwee Doctor Who fan, and I'm one of those hiding behind the couches.
Are you?
Kind of, yeah.
I always
Doctor
just
Who-
thought it was one of those myths that people,
No.
it always comes up in every conversation, but people, no one really hid.
No, I
behind the
actually hid behind the couch. It was a family joke. I was petrified of Doctor Who, but also couldn't resist watching it.
On that point, Vicky in Bolton says, can you ask Christopher whether the new series would be too scary for my 5-year-old? He loves the Daleks. It would be great if he can watch the new series in front of the sofa and not behind. Another sofa email. 5 is going to be down to Vicky, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's down to Vicky. It's impossible for me to say, and each 5-year-old's different as well. Give it a go. Let him watch episode 1 and episode 2, because the Doctor's attitude to terror is not the conventional kind of reaction, apart from when he sees the Daleks.
I had to do a very brief. It's worth, if you are going to watch it with a kid, a nephew or a niece, or whatever. It's worth sitting down 5 minutes before Doctor Who starts, because otherwise you just get fed up explaining what a police box is.
Yeah.
But there is an awareness of that, isn't there, in the programme? Because Billy Piper looks at the TARDIS, which sort of in the 60s people would have been very familiar with the sight of a police box. So you're sort of aware of that, don't you?
Yeah, we addressed that in episode. We addressed that in episode 1, but he also talks about it a great deal in episode 11. He reveals the whole, and I won't do it now. Reveals the whole reason why it's police callbacks from the 1960s, and it's all tied up with his character. He's very affectionate, The TARDIS to the Doctor, it's the only remnant of his civilization. So he's very emotional about that machine.
It's Gallifrey. Is that
Gallifrey, yeah.
Yes.
He's a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey.
It's still a neat trick.
Get
isn't
your
it?
Stanislavski around that, mate.
The idea of having a phone box, and when you run in, it's a whole lot bigger.
Yeah.
On the inside, still a neat trick.
Mm.
Jonathan Mills in Harrogate. I think Christopher is by far one of our best actors, but most of his film work has been in UK films such as Elizabeth and 28 Days Later. Does he want to crack Hollywood, as he's far more talented than a lot of his peers who have?
I had a go at Hollywood and gave one of the worst performances on record. So
I don't think it was.
Oh, terrible.
This has gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And was that it? That was your attempt?
No, I did. I played a Hasidic Brooklyn Jew in a film with Renee Zellweger called Price Above Rubies. What else have I done over there? Little things, here and there. But my heart really, in a way, lies with British culture and British life, British television, and people. You get actors who are a bit snobby about television. I've never quite understood it. Oh, I don't do telly now, I do film, which has never been my way. The best scripts I've ever had have been in British television. I've never had a British film or an American film with a better script than I've had of McGovern and Flannery and Russell T Davies and Bowker, people like that.
Couple of quick questions here. Paul in Cardiff. Any chance we might get to see the excellent Hearts and Minds on TV or DVD again? And he says he's looking forward to seeing some Cardiff action on BBC One. But Hearts and Minds.
One of my favourite things. There is an attempt to get it out on DVD that I've heard about. Get a Jimmy McGovern script about the education of working class children in this country. Yeah.
And I think this is all we're going to have time for. But Colin Morrison in Biggleswade says, we can't wait for the new shows. Christopher's a brilliant actor, a real tangible screen presence. Have you heard, Chris, the Orbital track, You Lot, which samples your speech from The Second Coming?
Written by Russell T Davies. Yeah, I have. They sent me a copy. It's not my kind of music, but I admired it. I'm more soul and reggae. And
Well, I think you're going to have a very large audience there, 7 o'clock on BBC One. Hopefully, the people who decide these things will give it quite a while. You know, they'll let it bed in, I believe the phrase is, before they make any instant judgments. Would you say that's fair enough?
yeah, I would hope so. I think just with these first 13 episodes, you've seen Russell and the other writers really expand their imaginations. And I think Russell's got a long way to go with this series.
And maybe another series.
Maybe.
Possibly a film.
Oh yeah,
You
an
see-
American film will all sell out, and you'll have to bring me back and drag me over the coals.
Christopher, it's been great to meet you. Appreciate you coming
And
in.
you.
Thank you very much indeed. Christopher Eccleston, Doctor Who, starts 7 o'clock this Saturday on BBC One. We'll talk more with Lenny in just a moment. Here's Joe Sale.
I meant a Doctor Who film, actually, not another one.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
you knew what I
absolutely.
meant.
I think we'll have a
Because
Doctor
that
Who
would be-
movie because that was the Peter Cushing version, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I think there's been a few movies.
Okay, but I suspect we'll stick to the television.